We are excited because there is a virtual workshop being taught by Cooper Braun, and it is What the Zoom Producing Virtual Storytelling Shows. This will be October 21st, 2023 from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. But don't worry, there's a link there below, storycrossroads.org/all-things-story, and you can get the time zone converter and register and find out more. And we are excited to hear about all the success that Cooper has been having and maybe being able to adapt it to ourselves. Maybe not a maybe, even bigger than that, a definite let's adapt it to ourselves. And in case you didn't know, he has the largest virtual attendance I've ever seen in the storytelling world. It is phenomenal. I mean, when you're averaging like 150 people, that is fantastic. So Cooper, I know you said that you've hit the sweet spot. Maybe a couple hints, and then it'll share more at the virtual workshop. But tell us more about this amazing success.
I think uh, we hit this moment, the world shut down and we all started trying to figure out what to do on Zoom. And I think there was this catching lightning in a bottle, but how do we do that? How do we teach people how to do that? And to me, it really comes down to a couple of things. One is figuring out what it is you're doing. My show is fairy tale variations. We do fairy tales, we play with fairy tales. We're not trying to also do personal stories and also do tall tales. We do one thing and we try to do that one thing really, really well. So that's the first side is pick a subject. The second is do that subject as best as you can. And then the third is consistency and branding. You do this with Story Crossroads. You produce these amazing workshops so regularly, and people recognize the brand. That once you sort of establish that fairy tale variations means a thing, people know what they're going to get, and that draws more audience back.
And now we're in a world that either people are hybrid, they're trying to establish the in-person and the virtual audience, or maybe bit by bit, they're kind of giving up on that virtual audience. What do you say to just what's happening now?
So what I say is this. I can still produce a show at 6 p.m. in Denver, Colorado, and a good friend of mine can eat breakfast in Australia and watch that show. And that's not going away. I think that there were many people for whom Zoom was a stopgap. It was a way to get back to in-person storytelling. And I am so glad to be back on stages and back performing and hearing my audience breathe. But there's something really special about being able to perform live to people in Toronto and Singapore at the same time, and all of us in that same Zoom room. And I'll talk a lot about why I believe Zoom meeting is the right choice, and I do not like Zoom webinar. I like to see people's faces. I want that connection in time, as close to in the room as we can. And I know that for some people, it was a stopgap. It was they want to be back to in-person storytelling, and I respect that. But I also have found an audience that is worldwide now that can't come see me in Denver, and I want to be able to speak directly to them and continue to do that.
And that's what we've seen as well for Story Crossroads. We're not going away from virtual at all. If nothing else, we are just being hybrid more often. This was the year that we started with our house concerts, which were always in person. Now it's both. And as a result of it, we've seen that there's more donations, which then means we give more money to our storytellers, and we love that. So I think it's here to stay, that even if people pull back, those who are consistent, like you said, will, well, reap the benefits of it. Now, with your virtual workshop, you've given hints about some things you're going to delve into. What else can we expect on the kind of feel of it? I know that we're not going to do breakout rooms. We're going to be together.
Yeah, so I'm going to give sort of an overview of what I think works really well in the production of virtual events. So this is a little bit of reminding ourselves, and I have to constantly remind myself of this as well because the tools are updating, of what tools does Zoom give us? How can we best use those tools? We've all sort of reached this point that we've been doing Zoom so long that we all sort of assume we know what we're doing, and sometimes we have to be reminded that actually we don't. And that reminding ourselves and our performers that there are ways to make it better. We've gotten very used to the looking up people's nostrils because people's cameras are below themselves. And just going back to those basic reminders that we were trying to figure out 3 years ago. So from just the reminding ourselves about Zoom and production from Zoom, and then what I've learned from the how to run a show, how many people you need to run a show, having a host and a tech, one or both of those people also being security because Zoom bombing does happen, and sort of what I've learned through 3 years and what I can give to people to say, here are some places to start. Because sometimes we meet this program and we say, I'm watching really cool stuff, but I have no idea how to start. And so here's sort of a toolkit to say, here's how to start. Here's what to do.
And there are definitely features that Zoom is constantly coming out with that suddenly it's like, oh, well, do we want to even use that? Is it helpful to us? Is it just going to distract us? And even just platforms themselves with ticketing and things, that's constantly changing. So this is going to be important. This is not going to be 2020 news, people. We're going to be talking 2023 that will get you up to speed. So again, when is this workshop, everybody? It is Saturday, October 21st, 2023. It is from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. But again, that link down there can get you to the time zone converter as well as registration. That is storycrossroads.org/all-things-story. And what the Zoom, producing virtual storytelling shows with Cooper Braun. So until we tell again,
See you there.